Hey everyone, this is Arado and we're here to talk about the new Romancing Festival banner featuring Gustave, Forneus, Darque, and Katarina. First off with Gustave, he is a good boss and two-rounder column farmer, and then with Inherits from his other style, you may be able to improve farming whether it be on bossing or in AoE with the other UDX style. Unfortunately, he is stuck with slash element, but the good thing is he starts a new buff to the party, which is called the secret technique, which improves the attack of the party. It is stuck for greatsword right now. And then for hard content, so he is a good source of slash DPS, and he has some self-heal capability, albeit it's extra small effect. And he also has a good defense passive, having Iron Wall 6. Unfortunately, you won't be able to use him for debuffing because he has pretty low intelligence. So even though you use double flowing slash or any other stuff, that it might just not be able to debuff properly. Next up is Forneus. So for Forneus, he continues to be a good farmer. So with this style, he is an AoE or a boss farmer. And then with Inherit, of course, with spinning trample, that you would be able to cover a blunt element. And then with his skill number 3, you might be able to utilize that for single target farming later on with the 808 rotation. For hard content, he is a good source of thunder DPS, which is a little rare, I would say, because right now we only have a few folks that had changes, I believe, especially for Madeline. So that's why he's able to cover Thunder Element. But Thunder is pretty hard to come by. And then with this style, Forneus is able to nullify a Thunder Element. And the fun part about this, if you want to use him for counter, so you want to inherit Tidal Lure, and then because he also has a passive that he can counter, that it would do 2 counters with Tidal Lure and the passive. Next up is Katarina. So Katarina, in my opinion, is the best in the banner. Not because Katarina is one of my favorite, but yeah, I would say she is one of the best in this if you choose to pull in this banner. So with the base style, she is an AoE and a boss farmer. She covers a slash and cold element, and then with inherits, especially from the global exclusive style, as well as the UDX style, that you're able to improve the farming capability by a lot. So that's why she has a 6 and a 7 for score. For hard content, she is a reliable strength debuffer with skill number 3, a good source for slash and cold DPS, and she is able to do agility debuffing with Waning Moon, and you can amplify that to have a large effect too. Or you can do like a healing blade from Summer Style to be able to have self-heal, because she's kind of squishy for hard content. She doesn't have any defense passive with her. Yeah. And lastly, we have Darque. So for Darque, I put in a score. I put in an asterisk for the farming score, and I'll touch base on that on the final thoughts. So for Darque, as a base unit, he is a good column farmer and a boss farmer. So for column farming, it's kind of situational because of Bloody Harvest. The way Darque works is if he inflicts critical on his attack, that he gains PP plus 3. So in a way, like for 225 in Liam's chapter, you would be able to do Bloody Harvest, and then skill number 1. So, and then with Inherit from his other style, you would be able to do a good one-shot AoE that's double element, so that's Firecracker, or the skill number 3 from the UDX style. And then, like I said, he has some future improvements that we're gonna tackle on the final thoughts. For hard content, he is unfortunately just a solid source of DPS for Pierce, because in the long run, he is able to stack Dex buff to himself, So the longer the battle is, the stronger the attacks he has. So yeah, that's what I think of the banner. Unfortunately, Gustav was hurt with being stuck with slash element. As you know, we have so much characters that can deal slash element, and doesn't no matter how much I tried to look at his other styles, I couldn't make it fit where he is able to stand out against the other slash DPS. Even though he has the secret technique greatsword that it's kind of stuck with other greatsword units, which is also another slash DPS, and he is unable to do a turn 1 triple crush unlike the UDX style. So that's why I feel he's the least in the banner. But again, this is my opinion. You could have a different perspective out of it, and Gustav might have some uses in the future. Like, say, for the healing blade, that Tank Gustav would be able to benefit with that tremendously because, Tank Gustav is a cover one. So he would do magic mitigate with the row attack, and then on downtime, he would do healing blade for extra healing to himself. For Forneus, he continues to become a good farmer, and now he's able to cover different elements. So he can cover pierce and cold innately, and then he also can cover thunder, and then with spinning trample that you can do blunt as well. For Katarina, she is good for farming and debuffing because this one has the highest intelligence of them all. And then, like I said, she has so much potential with inherits from her other style. And then I put Darque as the last point for this because I wanted to touch base some extra stuff that's not yet on global. So yeah, Darque is a column farmer or a boss farmer, however you want to use him. And then the improvements that he has is in the free style that we get for him, the Mega Thrust. So Mega Thrust can be amplified later on for an SSS damage. So that can be an opener for, I think, 8 BP if not 9 BP if I'm not mistaken. So that could be like a golden note plus tier of attack. And then I wanted to highlight that later on, I think starting chapter 7 if I'm not mistaken in JP, that we started to get the lapis lazuli crafting material. So the lapis lazuli, it gives you bonuses on forged weapon where you can do critical to specific enemy classification. So there's some specific groupings to that. I tackled that in my streams, and I can cover that on a separate video. But basically, you would be able to take advantage of Darque's high, the critical side of his tension attack, that you would be able to do critical on certain enemies with the forged weapon from the lapis lazuli weapon. But that's far away from now, and if you think it's worth it to wait for those and be able to take advantage of Darque, and not just Darque, I mean, you can take advantage of Metal Black or Ilden. So all of them that specializes in being a critical unit, that they can take advantage of the lapis lazuli weapon. Other than that, I think Darque and Gustave overall starts the column farming outside of global exclusive Katarina, where, for Katarina, she has Waterfall Plus Blade, which is slash and cold. It's a global exclusive change because in JP it's lower attack and just slash. So Katarina started the column farming, but now Gustave and Darque enhances that, where they now go with 8 BP for SS damage because Katarina can only do, well, at least not Katarina, but Waterfall Blade in general can only do S damage. So later on, we would have better column farmer and better row farmer. So just be on the lookout on that. You don't need to pull right now if you don't mind not having any row or column AoE at this time, because we would slowly transition to the column and row farming stages. But even then, on those stages, you can still use your AoE, even though it's not the most efficient, but you would still be able to farm at the least, not, I mean, not the fastest, but fast enough kind of way. If you're okay with that, then you should be okay in skipping Gustave and Darque. Katarina, if you have UDX style and you also have summer style, those two together can do a lot of stuff, and you can skip Katarina as well. And lastly, for Forneus, I think if you have Madeline or other cold or pierce DPS that you feel that it's enough in your box, then yeah, Forneus can be skipped too. But yeah, in my gacha earlier before I recorded this video, I did 5 total multi in this banner, and I'm a little sad I didn't get Katarina, but it's okay. I might get her in some of the single pools I might do in the future. But that's me playing favorites, so don't quote me that because I'm chasing for Katarina that you gotta chase for Katarina too. No, you gotta look at your box and see what you're missing and pull whatever you need from the banner. Cash in and then cash out, easy. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this banner. Hopefully I was able to help you decide with whether any of these characters are useful or not. And yeah, take note that this is part 1 of the Autumn Festival, so we might have some part 2 or part 3, and there might be some global exclusive in there, seeing that this is the Autumn Festival, so there could be the Mooncake Festival out there, and they might celebrate that with some global exclusive units that we don't know about. Something it's a guess, and so take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, that's about it for this video, and thank you so much for tuning in. See you next time in my stream or in the next video. Thank you so much.